What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron, and today we're talking trade targets. We got a lot of players who had big weeks that we can now capitalize off of. So today we have my 6 must-sell players for Week 4 of the fantasy football season. Let's not waste any time. If you enjoy, make sure down below, subscribe, leave a like. Let's go.
Stones, like this froze, ice cold, ice around my body like I'm frozen. She gon' let me.
Now, I do want to say this is usually one-stop video where I just go through my must-buy and must-sell trade targets all in one video, but I ended up with so many this week, we divided up into 2. Instead of one long 40-minute video, we just have 2 15 to 20-minute videos so you guys can kind of digest them a little bit easier, I guess. Now, our first must-sell candidate here, we have Kenneth Walker. Now, we'll make this a little bit bigger. It's pretty small, but that's because we have a big chart I'll show here in a second. But Kenneth Walker's looked really good so far. I believe that he is, if I look it up right now, he is, I want to say like the he's got to be like the RB6 or better. I'm kind of talking my ass here, but no, he is the RB3 right now, Kenneth Walker. And I do want to make something clear. For title purposes, for thumbnail purposes, it's going to say these are must-sell players. What I will say is if you have them on your team, you do not have to take the first offer that comes in. If nobody's going to pay the prices that we talk through here, then just hold on to them. Ride out your top 5 RB in a landscape of running backs are super scarce, but also if you can leverage the scarcity of the market and overcharge on a Kenneth Walker and get a ton of profit there, then that's something you should explore. But if that's not available to you, hold on to Kenneth Walker, ride him out. There's no issue whatsoever with doing that. Just wanted to make that clear here. Now, when we talk about Kenneth Walker, the reason why I have him as a sell is because he's coming off his best week of the season. He had like 30 plus PPR points against the Panthers at home. It was the perfect game script for him to score a bunch of points. And I think I would cash out on these prices if I could, because Zach Charbonnet is going to be a factor. It's only been 3 weeks so far, and Zach Charbonnet is already very much in the mix. And that's not great for Kenneth Walker, where this past week he had his lowest snap share at 49%, his lowest rush attempt share at 55%, and his lowest routes run at just, I believe, 26% of the routes there. And then you have on the other side, you have Zach Charbonnet playing the most snaps he's played of the season, the most routes he's played of the season, back-to-back weeks of being 100% of the 2-minute drill snaps. Zach Charbonnet is eating into this role, and you might say, well, it was garbage time. They were just salting away the game with Zach Charbonnet. Well, here's the thing. With Kenneth Walker, he had 1.8 catches per game last year. He is not a big receiving back. Now, yes, he did have some catches in this game. He looked good in the receiving game, but still, that route participation of 26% is not going to get it done to be a consistent pass-catching back in the NFL. So what Kenneth Walker needs to do is score touchdowns and ice games. If he's not going to be the guy they call on to ice games in the fourth quarter when they're beating up on the Panthers, that's kind of a blow, where if you're not going to be one of these 50-plus catch guys, you need to be the rushing threat at all times. So if garbage time scripts are now getting Zach Charbonnet in there between the tackles, a little bit of an issue for Kenneth Walker. If he's also now going to be more of a 55% snap guy, not going to be catching a ton of passes with, only a 26% route participation, it gets tough for him to be a top 5 running back. He is a top 5 running back in point per game right now. You have to assume that he probably gets valued as a top 5 running back. So he's going to be a back-end RB1 from your rest of season, and that'll be fine. But if you can get someone to pay up for him like he's this elite top 5 running back, you absolutely should, right? Especially capitalizing on the RB thirst. All of that, I think, works with Kenneth Walker. Now, when we talk about trade targets here, we have the Fantasy Calc trade database here, where you can see in the top left, Fantasy Calc. It's fantasycalc.com. I get a bunch of questions, what is this site? What is this site? fantasycalc.com. I'll maybe link it somewhere, but it's a pretty simple site, fantasycalc.com. What it does is we can actually click on this right here. It's a site that pretty much compiles. We generate trade values, insights. We're constantly scraping new trades from multiple fantasy sites. So it's like, it has an API, I assume, that's scraping from tons of fantasy football sites, and that's all I can really ask for. Something that is scraping real trades that are happening. Now, whether these are realistic in your league or not, I really don't know, but it's the best I got. These are actual trades that are happening. We have it set to redraft, 1 QB, 12-teamer, half PPR or full PPR, and 2-for-1s or 1-for-1 type of trades. Now, none of these are available in your league. I don't know what to say. I said it in the last video, but if you're in a league where everyone's stubborn to trade and they need to clearly be winning the trade to make a trade with you, then don't make a trade just to make a trade and lose it value-wise to make a trade, if that makes sense. Like, there's just no reason to make trades if you are in a league that kind of has a ton of friction to get trades done. These are recommendations for teams or leagues that are more trade-friendly, and you can kind of sort of kick the tires and see what you can get. for a Kenneth Walker, because if we type Walker in here, Kenneth Walker is going to have some juicy offers here where you can take, Kenneth Walker, Michael Pittman for Jamar Chase all day. Kenneth Walker, Mark Cooper for Tyreek Hill. I would do that all day. Kenneth Walker for Austin Eckler straight up. I would do that. I would not do, if I could trade Derrick Henry for Kenneth Walker, I would. After that, everything else seems pretty rough here. I think I would do Kenneth Walker for T. Higgins and Josh Jacobs all day long if that's on the board. Kenneth Walker for A.J. Brown straight up, I would do that all day long. But you can see, like, if you can get one of these, like, elite guys who are going, like, the first round or fringe first round of fantasy drafts, definitely cash out for that price. Again, like Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Eckler, like, these are all the types that I'm looking at. If you can somehow get, like, two really nice studs, like 2 second rounders, like T and Josh Jacobs, I would. A.J. Brown, I would. But again, if your league is the type of league where it's like people are throwing out, I don't know, like Derrick Henry for your Kenneth Walker, then just hold on to him and score those points. There's genuinely no shame in just holding on to these players. But I do want to make recommendations to see if you can kind of absolutely capitalize on the max amount of trade value you can get or roster value you can get for these players. Which takes me to our next one, being Adam Thielen. I know a lot of us are in office leagues, we're in home leagues. I think Adam Thielen, it's funny enough, I think Adam Thielen's a name that probably does something for some people, right? Like Adam Thielen, he used to be good. He used to be, like, probably only 2 years ago, he was really good. He might still have name value in your league. He's coming off a 30 bomb this week. He had a 20-point performance the week before that. I would just be hesitant when it comes to thinking that Adam Thielen's going to actually be a difference maker moving forward, where this was an offense that had Andy Dalton come in. They had a season high. No other team has passed for 58 pass attempts in a single game so far. The Panthers just did that. You're not going to get that every single week. Bryce Young is already practicing. He's going to be back in the mix, and there's not going to be that same production available when Bryce Young is back. It's a young team. They could favor more of these young wide receivers and young playmakers over a guy like Thielen after it's pretty clear that they're tanking later on in the year. You have John Mingo, who's in the mix. He left early with a concussion over the weekend. DJ Chark is emerging. So if you can capitalize on this big week from Adam Thielen, I would see what you could do here. These trades that you can find on Fantasy Calc are pretty sweet, where if we look through, I am concerned that we're not zoomed in enough here. But let's just zoom in a little bit more. But we have some juicy trades here, where Adam Thielen for Javonte, I think I would do that straight up. Adam Thielen and Ford for Jonathan Taylor, all day long there. What else? Adam Thielen, Dameon Pierce, I don't think that's available. But if you can take Adam Thielen and a running back to get Eckler, definitely would. Is there anything else that sticks out here? Oh, yeah, Adam Thielen and Jerome Ford for Jacobs all day. This could be Adam Thielen and Zach Moss, or Adam Thielen. I think I would even do Adam Thielen and Kyron Williams for Josh Jacobs if that was on the menu. Adam Thielen and Devin Achane for Devonta Smith, I think I would do that as well. Adam Thielen for Breece Hall straight up, I would do that all day long. I don't even like Najee Harris, but if you need a running back, Thielen for Najee and Moss, I think I would do that all day. And then nothing else really sticks out. Adam Thielen and Mostert for Eckler, I think I would do that for sure. So yeah, just a couple of ideas what you can do with Adam Thielen. He's trading at a pretty high value right now. Would definitely see what you can get for him. And if nobody wants him, then so be it. Now our next trade target here, our third must sell, is Raheem Mostert. Now people aren't going to like this one. He's coming off a massive week, but that's kind of the point, right? If you can sell for a high-end RB1 price tag on Raheem Mostert, I think you should. You probably should take that. He is right now the RB1 in points per game, but just the RB13 in expected points per game. Now, what is expected points per game? Expected points per game is based on your targets, your ADOT, your volume, your red zone targets, your red zone carries, all of that, your goal line carries. How many points per game should you have? He should be a 15 point per game running back right now. Instead, he is a 28 point per game running back right now. And if somebody wants to pay up for Raheem Mostert, you probably should. We have Devin Achane breathing down his neck. We have Jeff Wilson coming up behind him, who should be back in the mix probably as soon as week 5, it seems like, with Jeff Wilson. Then on top of that, you have Raheem Mostert on pace for 289 touches. He's never been over 225 touches in his entire career. He's just on a unsustainable pace. He's 30-plus years old. He's only finished out an entire season like once, and I think that was last year. What I'm saying is that if running back is scarce, you can just ride out Raheem Mostert. But if you can somehow get an elite asset for Raheem Mostert, I would do that all day long. Or if we look through the trade database here on Raheem Mostert, Raheem Mostert straight up, I think that Raheem Mostert for Jonathan Taylor straight up gets close. I don't know that I would do that, But if I could do Raheem Mostert for, Raheem Mostert and Mattison for Devontae Adams, I would do that all day long. If I could do Raheem Mostert straight up for T. Higgins, I would do that all day long. If I could do Raheem Mostert in a piece for A.J. Brown, I would do that as well. Raheem Mostert, I don't even really like this one, but Raheem Mostert for Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara, I would do that as well. Raheem Mostert and Diggs for Jefferson, that's interesting, but I probably wouldn't do that. Does anything else stick out? Oh yeah, and Raheem Mostert, Tutu Atwell for Calvin Ridley also sticks out as a must accept there. So Raheem Mostert, if you can get one of these elite guys that he's actually trading for, I would do that as well. Again, that Calvin Ridley one is very juicy. Now, after that, we have DJ Moore here. DJ Moore. The thing that it really comes down to with DJ Moore is that he has back-to-back top 30 finishes, and if there's any takers, you should sell. The whole idea with DJ Moore and why I liked him as a target this year was that Justin Fields could maybe take a step forward as a passer, and that just hasn't happened. So if you can sell on 2 back-to-back okay performances on sort of around what you drafted him for, you really should cash out. This is a team in terms of pass volume that just lost 41-10 to the Chiefs, trailing the entire game, and all you get is 22 pass attempts and 99 passing yards. Just brutal stuff, a brutal environment for a wide receiver to operate in. Again, I don't think Justin Fields is going to take that step forward we thought he could. I think Justin Fields is going to be fine for fantasy. I think his legs are going to get him there. But in terms of the passing game, we're not seeing that same step forward we saw with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. That is not what this has been. So if you can cash out, I would, man. This is where he's at in terms of expected points per game. 8.7 expected points per game. He is in the same area as DJ Chark, Rashee Rice. Now, McLaurin and Dotson are in there, and that's a conversation for another day. They've been struggling as well, but we're talking Darius Slayton and Dontavion Wicks. It's just like, it's the most brutal range of all time. He's outperforming that right now, 11.3 points per game, outperforming by the widest margin in this entire little grouping here. So again, if you could sell on name value, if you could sell on these last 2 weeks, I would. It's looking pretty rough for DJ Moore. I mean, you can get some decent stuff here on Fantasy Calc in the market when it comes to DJ Moore. He is trading for currently. I mean, I wrote down a bunch, but I saw straight up for, DJ Moore and Jahan Dotson for T. Higgins. I would do that. DJ Moore for Raheem Mostert trade up. I don't even know that that's on the table, but I would do that. DJ Moore and Swift to go get Saquon. I actually kind of love that. DJ Moore and a piece to go get CeeDee Lamb. I love that. DJ Moore and Christian Watson for Raheem Mostert. I think I'd probably hold there, but that's actually really close. DJ Moore and Tank Dell or Nico Collins or any of these sort of pop-up wide receivers for Olave, I would do that all day. DJ Moore and Jerome Ford for Debo, I would absolutely love that deal. DJ Moore and a piece for Lockett, I would do that all day long. Does anything else stick out here? I think we have a Devontae Smith one I wrote down as well. Damn, so I guess that's on the next page, Devontae Smith? No, huh? I could have sworn that I saw a Devontae Smith no, I didn't. I think I saw it was the Mostert deal, which we already talked through. You have the Mostert deal. You have the I thought I wrote down T. Higgins. I think we already went through that one. Yeah, the T. Higgins deal. There's like a CeeDee Lamb deal as well. Yeah, DJ Moore for CeeDee Lamb. You have DJ Moore for Olave, Saquon. There's just a bunch of really good deals here with DJ Moore already. His value is not zero. So I would maybe kick the tires around your league, see if anybody sort of takes the bait on DJ Moore. If not, then I guess you kind of just have a depth piece that'll get in your lineup as like a, if it's a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex league, DJ Moore does have some utility in that format. Next up, though, we have James Conner as a must-sell here, where James Conner makes a ton of sense. I'd want to cash out after a big week. I mean, the Cardinals just have a ton of momentum right now where they won against the Cowboys. I mean, this is a team that just blew a 28-0 lead to the Giants week before, lost in week 1. Nobody thought they were going to be competitive. Of course, it's this magic story. They're doing well, but if I can bet against Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals looking good over an entire season, I would bet against that every time. James Conner right now just the RB22 in expected points per game. He's the RB12 in points per game. To me, he's a back-end RB2 that might be trading as a fringe RB1. So if you can trade him at a fringe RB1 price, I would. We don't know when Josh Dobbs is going to go back to sort of what we saw before these last 2 games. We don't know what the offense is going to look like when Kyler gets back. Conner probably struggles against San Francisco 49ers this week and lowers his trade value. So if you can sell him, I would. Where if we look at what he's trading for, I saw some decent things earlier. I saw like James Conner straight up for Brandon Ayuk. I would do that. James Conner straight up for Pittman. I would do that. So if you're in a spot where you have RB depth and you don't need Conner, I actually like a lot of these moves. Like Conner for Flowers, I would. Conner for Pittman, I would. Conner for Ayuk, I would. What else here? We have Conner for Damian Pierce in a piece. I would do that all day. If you can do Conner for Josh Jacobs straight up, I mean, I don't think that's on the table, but if you could do James Conner in a piece for Josh Jacobs, I would all day. Something that looks more like this, James Conner and Jacoby Myers for Josh Jacobs. I didn't mean to leave James Conner up there, but you guys can kind of see what I'm talking through. I think there's also a Devonta Smith. Yeah, James Conner and Christian Kirk for Devontae Smith. That's really fun. James Conner and Garrett Wilson for Justin Jefferson. That's really fun. So again, I mean, James Conner, name value, putting up points. He's selling for a decent bit here. Now, our last player we are going to talk about is Alexander Mattison. Now, I don't have a picture for him. I thought I had one, but seemingly I don't. And what it really just comes down to with Alexander Mattison, as I sort of put together a picture for him here, is that Alexander Mattison just came off his best game of the season so far. And I think if you can sell on that, you should. Where he played the Chargers, it was like the most perfect game script possible for Alexander Mattison here, where it's against the Chargers. He has 20 rush attempts. But I think that you kind of have to read the tea leaves, where the team went out, they got Cam Akers. It just kind of gave a vote of confidence that they don't believe in Alexander Mattison. He's still one of the most efficient running backs out there. And if you can capitalize on running back scarcity and sell high on Alexander Mattison after 2 weeks of like, oh my God, like, was this the worst pick in the 4th round or 5th round possible? I think I would, if that's on the table here, where you can see, I mean, the first 2 weeks were absolutely awful. Now, Tampa Bay and Philly are good run defenses. Philly, of course, better than Tampa Bay, but it just wasn't good until this past week, and the Chargers are notoriously known for letting running backs run all over them. In terms of his next matchups here after the Chargers, you have Carolina, which is going to be easy this week, then KC, then Chicago, then San Fran. So not really the toughest of all time, but after getting 25 touches here, I can't imagine that's going to be their game plan every week. I imagine Cam Akers is going to eat into this role. So again, if I could kind of sell high on Alexander Mattison here, I absolutely would. Now, when we look at kind of what's available in terms of the trade database here, I think you can sell Alexander Mattison for a pretty little penny, if I remember correctly, where if we look on the trade database and we pull this up here, we have as follows. I mean, I wouldn't really like these. I mean, if you can take Alexander Mattison and Olave and get Bijan, I would do that. Mattison and Godwin for Saquon, I would do that. What else kind of sticks out? I mean, man, they're actually lowballing Alexander Mattison here. Alexander Mattison and a piece for JT, I would do that as well. Alexander Mattison and Kirk. Oh my, I actually love this. Madison and Kirk and like just like a wide receiver piece in this range for Jacobs, I would do that all day. Mattison and a piece for T. Higgins, I would do that. Madison straight up for Pierce. That's close. I probably lean Pierce. Mattison and a piece for Jonathan Taylor, I would do that all day. But you can see, I mean, some of these trades aren't the most realistic of all time, but again, I'm just kind of working with what I have, picking out the ones that seem realistic. Alexander Mattison, to me, if you can go out there to an RB needy team and sell high on his performance last week, I personally would. Now, that is going to do it for us today. As always, rest of season rankings will be out tonight. I don't know when this video is going to come out, but rest of season rankings, I go through them every single week on the Patreon. I think this is going to be out tonight. By the time it comes out, rest of season rankings should be done. So they are fully updated. You can see where I have players ranked rest of season, where I have Alexander Mattison versus, Aaron Jones, Damian Pierce's, and kind of get a gauge for what I'm looking for in these trades. That'll be patreon.com/Sean Stewart. You get my weekly rankings, my rest of season rankings. You get my start sit streams every Sunday, and you get my waiver wire article with exact fab recommendations on Tuesdays. You get a ton there. You can find that in the description, comment section down below. But if you don't want to support there, just leave a like, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Stones, like this froze, ice cold. Oh,